king ten off is an open. You're always opening 10-8 suited, right?
Always, yeah.
I feel like people defend so wide on this flop that an 8 is just a mandatory bet here. I see a lot of guys like check back because they're afraid to get check raised. I think that's bad. I know that Snowy opens king 7 suited here as a min raise. I don't know if it opens queen 7 suited.
Yeah, let's say fold.
Yeah, I feel like if you start opening all those hands from the cutoff, you really open yourself up to getting punished by the button if you start 3-betting you too wide. Now here, this is one of the only circumstances where you don't need to 3-bet with the small suited aces.
Okay.
It usually just calls with these, and it'll take like jankier hands like ace-3 off and 3-bet with it. So I guess it's calling about 73% of the time. I think this is a bet.
Yeah, me too.
But, I mean, obviously we're not going to try and go for 3 streets on most runouts. And I think this is one of the turns where checking makes a lot of sense.
What was the EV of a half pot size bet? And what does it say for 0.5? Same thing.
Yeah, so it looks like you're giving up about, 0.8 big blinds by betting, and I think it's just because you're like exposing yourself to a lot of check raises.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And this, right. By checking the ace here, you're kind of balancing your turn checking range so that you can extract a little bit. You might be able to induce some bluffs on the river, I guess.
On the river, yeah. That makes sense.
Now here, this is so thin. I'm not really inclined to bet.
Yeah, I would check.
I've been betting half pot with hands like this.
That's what I was thinking too.
A lot more, just because people are check calling so wide on these flops, and I think it makes it a little bit easier to play. But I'm folding to a check raise. Now, do you ever turn this hand into a bluff here?
I do. I don't always.
Yeah, I had to think about it for a second, because usually if I fire turn, fire river, people will fold everything but the ace high flush.
Mm-hmm.
But Snowy gets really sticky here. Like, it just continues so wide with all the clubs. But I guess on the flip side, if it check called with a hand like Queen of Hearts, Jack of Diamonds, I can't really do anything against us.
Right.
And it also doesn't really make a lot of sense to check raise as a bluff. So maybe we should turn it into a bluff here. I'd like to see what the eval says, though.
I think it's going to say check.
Oh, no, it says both.
Mm.
It's doing both. I think this is a good spot to just go for it. Now, this is a weird spot. Like,
yeah, it is.
I'm usually not looking to turn a straight into a bluff here, but at the same time, I'm struggling to see a situation where Snowy would check call with less than a flush. So I guess the question is, can we get it to fold like a 10 high flush or a 9 high flush?
I'm gonna guess no.
Yeah, I don't think it's folding those hands. I think in a live game, I would for sure bet this river.
Yeah.
Especially if I didn't river a straight. But here, I think that's you're just kind of lighting money on fire because Snowy's just so sticky. Yeah, like he's just not folding the king of clubs ever.
Yeah.
But you see why I've been c-betting that flop a little bit more often because people are just check calling like so wide there.
Right.
That it makes a lot of sense.
What type of sizing would you use on the river if you were to bet the river in a live game?
On the turn, I'm always going half, but
right.
On the river, it would be closer to pot.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I guess I'm 3-betting.
Yeah, like Snowy plays super tight with ace 10. Like it might actually say to fold here.
Yeah, for sure.
But live, I'm just not folding. Like
no, of course.
I'm either 3-betting or calling. So yeah, like if
yeah.
But I mean, you see, like just a live opponent doesn't need to be making many mistakes for you to overcome like a .02 big blind deficit. You know what I'm saying? So like if you're playing against a fish, like this is a pretty clear 3-bet. Seems super tight with ace 10, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now king 6 off I know is a defend against a min raise. And then this board is super dynamic, so I'm not really looking to go crazy here. And then king high also has a lot of showdown value. I don't think by stabbing we can get Snowy to fold ace high. So I'm usually just checking it down here. That's kind of what I was thinking. If this was a tournament, I would be a lot more inclined to 4-bet, especially if I could 4-bet to about a fifth of my opponent's stack. So you just have so much more leverage. I think Jack Deuce is a pretty clear call here. I don't really think we have any incentive to raise this turn.
Yeah, me either.
Here I feel like Snowy has a lot of ace X. Let's go to check call. Another thing is we're chopping against most of the jack X it has. And it also never has queen 10 when it checks the river here. So I might go actually a little bit bigger than half pot. What do you think about that?
I was thinking half pot right when I just saw this. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's good. Up to 6 maybe.
Yeah. Because I feel like people know we're really jack X heavy, but they're so unwilling to fold an ace that going a little bit bigger could be beneficial to us. You feel like you're gaining from this so far?
Yeah, I like playing with Snowy a lot, to be honest.
I've learned so much from it in the past year or so. I think it's really helped me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
because
no, I know you're a really big fan of it. I really like every day I wake up and I'm like, God, I want to play with Snowy. So I'm gonna go out today and probably get one of those little things.
yeah, I mean, you can get kind of a burn laptop for $400 or $500, but I would suggest getting like a Surface Pro, spend 1,200 and get like a really nice device. Um, get a case with it, and then you're just always set. And you probably never need to, that'll last you like 4 or 5 years. You won't need to get anything new.
Right.
Um, this is a spot where, like in a cash game with a rake, I would just fold 10-7.
Yeah, me too.
Because
Do you,
it's
do
so
you,
thin.
do you chop, Hunter?
I do. In 2-5,
Oh, you
I
do.
always
Okay.
chop because of the rake, but like in 5-10, if it's a time game, nobody wants to chop, which makes sense. But if it's 5-10 with a rake, still some people are so stubborn that they don't want to chop. Um, and in that circumstance, I would probably just fold 10-7 off because it's just so thin, and you're kind of,
Okay.
I feel like you're wasting time almost by trying to go to war post swap with that when you could just find a better spot, especially against a fish.